Hello my friends, welcome to Discoveries in Mixed Media. Today we're going to play with paint again. I've got my trusty fluid mixed media paper and I have my palette. If you don't have one of these, that's okay. You can basically use a plate that you would clean afterwards, obviously. If you didn't want to get the paint on your plate, just cover it in saran wrap or foil or anything really. Any non-porous thing, you could do that. And then grab your paints. I have some that are already watered down, but I have some extra water here if I need to water some more down. So today the focus with our paint experimentations and discoveries is we're going to be focusing on drizzles and splatters. So for splatters, you're definitely going to want a brush that is stiff, but not so stiff that you can't like do this to it. And if you don't like to get your fingers dirty, you can put a glove on, that's fine. And I used to have a fan brush, that's gone missing, but those are great too, and they splatter really nicely. But I won't be able to play with that today. And then for drizzles, you can use pretty much any kind of brush that you want, because you're just going to be dipping and sort of, you know, just letting it drizzle off of your brush. So I'll probably use this one. I might experiment with the larger ones too. We'll see. You can see that I did cover my desk with some Amazon packaging paper, and that's just so I don't have a total hot mess to clean up after I'm done. And if it looks good on the paper, I'll use it in a journal. Just so that you know, this is a paper that I did with actually I cut a straw in, it was one of those fat straws, and then I cut it and then just dipped it in paint and then just tapped it down on the paper, and this is the pattern that made. So you can paint with so many different things. It doesn't always have to be a paintbrush. Last week we did painting with our, remember the little, I forget what that's called, but the little thing where we squeezed the paint up into the tube and then we painted with that. That was a lot of fun. All right, so go ahead and get your mixed media paper and your brushes and your water and your paints, and we're gonna get started. I'm just gonna take some of my paints and pour them into my palette. And as I mentioned earlier, some of my paints are thinned out, which will make splattering easier. So if you feel like your paint is too thick, you can go ahead and thin that out a little bit. Oh, I also wanted to mention that if you don't have paintbrushes, but you have an old toothbrush, toothbrushes will splatter your paint. Now this is not thinned out, but this is glitter paint, and I thought we would just have some fun and experiment with it. Usually glitter paint is a little bit thinner, just naturally, it just is. I don't know why it seems like it has a higher water content, but that might work out great for this particular experiment. That was glitter paint as well, and so is this pink paint right here. I'm gonna get some purple into the mix here. I'm thinking what I'll do. Ooh, that is really a lot. And what I was thinking is I'd go ahead and add some white to it. I'd prefer more of a lavender. And then I've got some yellow, and this was running low, so I added some water to it last week when we experimented. Might have added too much, but you know, we're just gonna play and see. All right, I have my water here, and what I always do is, it's always good to wet your brush before you start messing with it, and the reason is because it'll make it much easier to clean afterwards. All right, so the first one I want to do, and this is just to get, you know, we're just making pretty papers so that we can create backgrounds. That's really it. And you can use the backgrounds for greeting cards or anything you want. All right, my friends, we are going to start our experiment. So I'm going to use the wide brush first. I've already dipped it in water. And now I dipped it in my paint. And remember, this paint has been watered down. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that. So this kind of brush works great. So let's go in with a lighter color now. I think that looks so pretty.
Thank you.
Now I'm going to go in with the glitter. Now I'm going to go in with some of the pink glitter paint. And now I'm going to dip the brush into blue, and we're going to give that a go. And I dropped a big blob on there, but that's okay. We're going to own that and work with that. And there's a couple of them, so actually it works really nicely. I'm going to zoom in for you guys. Look, isn't it cool? I love it. I love how that turned out. This page is done. I'm going to let this dry and we'll look at it when it's dry. Friends, I thought I was recording when I added yellow to this page. Don't know if you can see it because, you know, after all, it is yellow. But it's a nice, even spread of yellow paint. And now I'm wondering, I think because I like the way yellow and blue work together, let's go ahead and add some blue to it. See how nicely this paintbrush works for this technique? This is great. And then you can, if your paint is loose, you know, if it's wet enough, you can go ahead and do this and just see what you get. I love the effect of this. I think that's so fun, you guys. Let's set this one aside too. Actually, let me see if I can get some in this corner over here. There we go. I'll try to get any spots that don't have much paint on them before I move this one along. And all I'm doing is this. That's all I'm doing is I'm just touching the brush and then the paint just flows right off of it. I love this one, you guys. The teal and the yellow work so nicely together. Really pretty. Now, on this page, we're going to do a little bit more of what we did with, like, the tossing the brush. So I'm going to get my brush a little wet, just to add some liquid to it so that when I go to, you know, spray it on there, it'll do it, like, no problems. Try not to get my windowsill covered in paint. All right, so this is like a yellowy blue or yellowy teal because I didn't clean the brush because I wasn't worried about it. I kind of wanted to see what would happen if we combine the colors, and I really like that. I'm going to go in now for this one is the glitter paint. And that one wasn't quite, I didn't dip my brush, so we're not getting a lot of it coming off of here, but let me dip my brush into the one next to it because that one is watered down. Oh yeah, look at this. Oh, super pretty. You can also try tapping. You know, that's actually a little bit more controlled. You know, helps you get around the edges if you want to. Let's dip again and let's do that some more. So there's all kinds of ways to get the paint off of the brush and onto the paper without actually making contact. I'm going to go around the edges and just sort of fill in the blanks with some tiny splatters. I love the way that looks. That's so pretty. Of course, this is one of my favorite colors of all time. Now I think we should go ahead and work on drizzles, and let's see how that works for us. I'm going to use my thin brush for the beginning of this, and I dipped it into the water, and now I'm just, you know what, let's go in for the this one that we hope is going to be lavender. We haven't played with this one yet. Now this one is not very liquidy, and I actually wouldn't mind adding a little water to it. Let me do that real quick. All right, so I have added the brush onto, or the paint onto the brush, and I'm trying really to add a lot to it. Just be free with it. Don't overthink it. Just enjoy getting the paint onto the page. Enjoy the process of it. All right, what should we pair this with? Maybe some sprinkles. Going in with the blue, which one was this? This was the blue sparkly one, glitter, like glitter paint. What do you guys think of that? I think I want to do a few more, but I'm liking the way that it's coming along. I think it looks really pretty. All right, my friends, here's this one. I'm going to give you a little bit of close-up, and I want to do that again, and this time we're going to do something a little bit different. I accidentally got my fingerprints on here, so I'm just going to rub that in, and we're not going to worry about it. That'll become part of it, and we're just not going to think about it, right? All right, so what I wanted to do this time, like I said, something a little bit different than we did last time. I'm going to put that back in the water. So I'm going to come in with this green. This is pretty watered down, this one here. So this should drip. It should drip pretty good. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually, remember the last one, I didn't cross over the sections with each other, but this one I'm going to do that. And then you'll see why. Still want to be natural about it. I'm not thinking about it. I just know that I need to have some areas that cross over each other. Now, if you wanted to, I'm being very flowy. Nothing to say that you can't be doing straight lines. You certainly could do that. That wouldn't be my style, but that would be somebody's style, and then that's perfectly fine. All right, so these ones that are close to the edge of the page, I'm going to go ahead and get them there. This one I'm going to bring over here. This one I'm going to tie into that. This one I'll bring over here. So now I'm just going to start tying them into each other. And then we're going to have some fun in just a minute. Okay, I think mostly everything is sort of tied in together, okay? So now that that's done, now what we're going to do is paint inside. And I'm not going to use this color green on all of them because then that wouldn't even make any sense. But we're going to start with this one since that's what's on my brush. And we'll do a couple of them in this color. This is so relaxing, you guys. If you have paints, it would be really fun for you to give this a try. If you don't have paints and you don't want to get paints, you could basically do the same thing with marker. or even crayon. If you don't have marker, you can use crayon or chalk. Really anything. Anything that makes color, you can just use the same principle, but I do like to play with paint. It's been a really long time since I did, so this is really fun for me. Okay, so I like this so far. I'll do something over here in the corner that might end up getting cut off, but you know, we'll give it a try. And then actually, let's make this look like this was a piece here. There we go. And we'll get this over here and this over here. And we'll do this little piece right here. And then actually, we can actually do that and paint that in. There we go. That's looking pretty good. Okay, so let's go ahead and rinse that off. And the question is, do I want to introduce purple or do I want to stick with the greens and blues? I wouldn't mind sticking with the greens and the blues, honestly. Now you guys, you pick whatever colors you like. All of us have a different preferred color palette, and that is perfectly fine. Do what brings you joy. I do tend to lean into these colors a bit. You know, if you look in my closet, I probably have a lot of shirts that are this color and, you know, that kind of thing. So just use whatever colors you like. So now we're just painting inside the lines, just like coloring in a coloring book. You just stay inside the lines, and if you mess up and you go outside the lines, guess what? It doesn't even matter. This is just making a pretty background so that we can turn it into something. And what might that be? Well, during this course, or this fun Discoveries in Mixed Media, we've made journal toppers, tags, greeting cards, you know, so really whatever you like. I really want you to try this, guys. It's so relaxing. It's almost unfair how relaxing it is. All right, what do you think? One more with this color. I'm going to go up here. All right, so how about another shade of blue, blue-green, or teal? Okay, let's do it. All right, so I poured some of the green sparkle paint. Let's see how that looks. Let's see what that gives us. Okay, so it's gonna definitely be a bit more translucent, but let's embrace it and see how it looks when it's dry. I think it's gonna be great. There we go. So it is a little bit darker, and I really like that. Let's do that up here too. Hopefully that's not off screen. Nope, we are good. All right, my friends, I think this is absolutely stunningly gorgeous. I hope you guys like it. So we just started off, you remember we started off with just some abstract shapes, and then we just filled them in, and I think it turned out really, really beautiful. I'm actually really excited to cut this and turn this into something once it dries. And since I don't like to waste my leftover paints that are in these, I just poured it onto this paper, and I'm just going to spread it around with my finger. You guys don't have to do that. I just don't like to waste my paint. All right, my friends, I want to show you all of the painty papers, some of which are dry and some are not. So this was just with our leftover papers that I wanted to not waste my paint. And then we had this one, which I think is so fun and abstract. And then this was one of our first ones, and we have a droplet right here that's not quite dry. A couple of these are not quite dry, but I do like it. And then this one is so super pretty. I hope the colors are showing up properly. It's a teal or turquoise mixed with yellow. Super pretty. I'm not going to put it down on top of that one because that's a little bit wet. And then we had this one, which I love the colors on here too. Very green, teal, yellow, just a great color combination. And then this one, which is still working on drying, but I absolutely love it. This was so relaxing and so fun to make. All right, my friends, so I was deciding what I might like to do with some of these papers, or one of them, just so that you can see what we might want to do with painty papers. Now, obviously, we know that we can use them in a collage. We know that we can use them as a background for anything from greeting cards to journal pages, ATCs, turn them into index cards, all kinds of things. So I was looking through my stash and I found I had harvested a book, and it's got these really cool images on it, and it's got like paint splatter. So I thought if I chose a couple of these, maybe I make a greeting card with it or something like that. So let's have a look. So far, what has caught my attention, this one's pretty cool, but this one is super cool. So I'm definitely thinking I might want to utilize this. And let me see what else. Oh, this is really, really cool. It looks like the background right here that we did, very similar. All right, so that's kind of neat. It's a little too big though, probably, so I might not want to, just in case I wanted to use this in a journal. Oh yeah, look at that. Wow, such cool images. Amazing. Let's see what else we have. This one's a little bit weird. Wait, maybe it's supposed to be like this. No, I have no idea how that's supposed to look. This is very cool, very abstract and fun. And this is Achilles, it looks like. Very nice, okay. And that's pretty cool too. And then this one, who is this supposed to be? I can't remember which one this is. Ooh, that's real pretty. Let's do that. Let's do that. Okay, so because I could sit here and create with every single one of those images with my painty papers, but we don't have time for that today. But we do have time to have fun with this. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut it. And it'll be neat because we will also be able to use this at some point in time. Oh, I just cut that foot off, but that's okay. Okay, and then what shall we do? We want to have a plan of sort of what I'm making. I'm thinking this could be a really cool greeting card or thank you note for when somebody places an order in my shop. So let's do that. And so that could be, I'm just trying to think about how tall we want it. Let me grab a ruler real quick. Under my paper, I got all kinds of stuff under there. I just want to see how tall this is. Okay, yeah. So if I cut it just over 6, it'll be a pretty tall card, but that's okay. I think I can still get it to work. I'll save this too. This could end up being, oh, could end up being interesting. And then if we're just going to use the horses for the front of the card, I'm going to trim this up here. And then let me see how wide I want this. Let me see what we're going to do. I'm thinking 4 inches. So we're just over 6, and then let's go 4. So we're going to lose their hind end, but that is okay. Let's see. 4 puts us right here. I think that's okay. I still think it looks very beautiful. All right, let's try it. Let's go with it. Yeah, I think that still has a really nice impact. Okay. How fun, right? So now the question is, which paper do we want to use to create with? This one does have some dark blues in it, which is nice. And then we have this with the, ooh, we have this with the purple and blue. Wow, that does look nice together. Definitely an option. Oh, and then hold on. Let's just try them all on for size. Okay, this one's got too much green, although it really does look cool, doesn't it? But I'll set it aside. Can't use all of them. All right, this one's got some, these colors really do go nicely with it. I do kind of like that. That's really an option. Let's check this one too. I think this one's got too much teal. It does look very nice though. Oh my gosh. These are all working really, really good with those book pages. And then we have this one with the purple. Okay, that's a little distracting for this, I think. So we're not going to use that one. And then, so the options were this, which for some reason I really love, as simple as it is, and this. Yeah, I think I might, I'm really tossed between this one. Oh man, it looks so good. Oh my gosh. And this one. It just almost looks like it belongs on this one though. So I think I'm gonna go with this. All right, my friends. So I'm going to go ahead and fold it here, and that's going to make this, I'm not too worried about this fitting into an envelope or anything like that, but this will make it, oh, just 5 inches wide. That's nothing. And I'm going to go ahead and cut off this end here. And we'll have a little, oops, I'll do that again. We'll have a little piece of scrap if we need it for something. Actually, this piece didn't get much paint on it. And now we're going to decide on the height. And I'm just going to look at it and see what looks good to me. I'm thinking right about here. So 1/2 inch below that big blue dot. I love the way this looks. Okay, so I was thinking about rounding the corners, but I think I'm going to leave them square. I kind of like the precision of it. I've added some Aleene's tacky glue to the back, and now I'm going to put that in place. All right, my friends, so I found some ribbon with stars on it, gold stars. I thought that would be perfect. So we're going to measure and cut. All right, my friends, I want to share with you the cards that I made with our painty papers. Here's the back and here's the front. I will put my stamp on each one of them, which says handmade by Creating with Jovi. And so I love this one. I think it's so beautiful. I also love this one. And what I did with this one is, well, you saw me add the stenciling, which I think really pulled everything together very nicely. And then I found this beautiful image and then just added flat back gems to it. I think it gives it a nice sparkle and I just like it. I like how it turned out. Then I have this one and I absolutely love this one. I didn't add any flat backs to this because I felt like it worked simply the way that it is. And of course, nice, beautiful splatter on the back. And then this is the last one that I made. And again, the images from the book are just fantastic. And they go so beautifully with the painted papers. And I didn't even plan that. It's just funny how that worked out. And sometimes things do work out like that. So I have these really beautiful, I guess they're flat backs, but they've got pearls in the center and then gems around the edges. They're not quite dry yet, but that's all I think this one needs. Friends, there were some images left from the book pages and I really didn't want to throw them away because they're such cool images. So I went ahead and I made some more cards. I grabbed some cardstock and you can see that it's got like this swirly stuff on it, which I think is perfect for this. And I added the book page here, part of a book page obviously, went around it with yarn and trim, and then I added these little flat backs in the corners, and then I added a piece of jewelry here for this one. The next one, I wound this fluorescent satin ribbon with gray so they sort of bounce off of each other, and then I added these flat backs in the corners and I added some flat backs here. This one was on purple swirly inky paper. Hold on, let me show you the back of this one. This one just had partial, so you can see it around the edges. And then this one is full. And then I added this image here, which was actually part of the image. I didn't like the full image, so I took the part that I liked. I added a piece of jewelry here. And these the glue is still drying, so I'm pressing them as I'm showing you. And so the glue will dry clear, so that won't be a problem. Added the black trim here and these silver, and I think that looks nice. And then we have this one. This is on some ink paper here, and the book page with some nice trim. This is sort of like eyelash trim, and then the little flat backs here in the corners. This one I really like the coloring. This has got a little bit of a bluey greeny ink. I have a piece of jewelry here just sort of hanging down, and I just went around it. I didn't do anything in the corners because I really like this for how it is. This one's kind of fun. This one has purple ink paper, and which is a scrapbook pack, just so you guys know. I didn't create this purple paper, so I just wanted you to know that. But I went around this with trim, and then in the corners I put these pretty pearls and rhinestones. And then there's this one, which is on the orange inky paper, sort of orange and pink. Went around that with a really simple trim, and then put these flat backs in the corners. So I got a bunch of cards from this book, and look how many. What do we got? 4, 5, 6, 7. And then the original ones that we did, which are 8, 9, 10, 11. Look at all these cards. Here, let me back it out even more. Look, isn't it great? So I used a book. We made our painty papers. I grabbed some scrapbook paper for the leftover book images, and I got all these cards, which is so fun. And I got rid of those images that have been in my stash for like easily 2 years, and so happy to use them. So friends, I really appreciate you joining me. I hope you like everything that you saw today. Thanks for watching. See you soon.